Good morning, Electroculture of Safety, line team. Welcome to another Linemen Safety National Webinar. This is going to be episode 99. Can't believe it. Real quick, just going to go over a few housekeeping items. Go to electrocultureofsafety.com, click on resources, and share with your line team back at home, your organization. Share all the Linemen Safety National webinars for free. Just download them. Go to live wire stories, download those. Go to all the shorts. Each short, there's hundreds of them now, each short is designed to capture a moment that you could actually create a safety meeting after just one short. That's it, that's your whole safety meeting. So it's a neat thing what we're doing here. The Electroculture of Safety is also on LinkedIn and Facebook. Click onto those, become a member, download those things. And I just want to thank my family. It's been 4.5 years now. Bierer Meters here in South Carolina. We're at our Live Line Training Center. This truly is a grassroots safety partnership right here. There's grass right here we're standing on. It needs to be mowed, but we just want to prove a point, right? So get involved with that. We're going to have in September, we got Mr. Billy Martin coming in on the 11th. Actually on the 15th of September, we got him coming in. We got Keith Pancake with Osmos coming in on the 16th. And then in October, International Linemen's Rodeo Month, we've got on the 20th Gallagher Insurance. That's going to be a neat perspective from their point of view as far as safety. And then we have Knowledge Vine. They're coming in to speak on the 21st. So we got some really good folks coming in. And ECOS, Electroculture Safety, is a place where we take the hierarchy of controls that's been out since 1950s. And we take this and turn it all upside down and inside out. Think about it, 70 plus years we've had the hierarchy of controls, and for 70 plus years, people were not put first. Because without people being first, you never obtain safety. So that's what we do here. And we got a special guest for the second time, Mr. Christopher Jessie. He's here for the second time. I didn't realize this, but I was going into his, the last time he was here, he talked about blending the generations, episode 025. And I highly recommend you grab a hold of that, Blending the Generations. That was 3 years ago. Here he is today, 3 years later, with DynaGrid, and he's going to be talking about, you ready for this? Well, you're going to figure it out. Well, I'll let him share that with you, all right? So, Christopher, thank you, my brother, for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man, it's been great following you, your wife, Michelle, and getting together with you guys, and with Pamela and everything, and having dinner, and getting updated on your family. Tell us a little bit about you. How did you get involved in this wonderful industry?
So 20 years ago, I've been in this trade for now 20 years, but I was a paramedic before I got into this. And my daughter and her best friend, that friend, her dad was the area director for Hinkles and McCoy. So friends become friends, and we started as families hanging out. And one day he wanted a resume from me, and I handed it to him. And 2 weeks later, I'm working for Hinkles and McCoy as a new safety guy, not having a clue about the electrical industry. He's driving down the road, pointing out cutouts and transformers, and explaining what we're doing. And 20 years later, now I'm with DynaGrid as the Corporate Director of Safety, managing not only DynaGrid, but 7 other companies, and just worked up the ladder.
That's a challenge. So you're basically, DynaGrid's the umbrella, the parent company. Yes. And what a challenge that you have to make sure that all the procedures and all the safety and everything is similarly one company to another. Right. That's got to be a challenge.
It is a challenge, but what I figured out through learning in my career is you build a good team, and you have that trust and communication with those other layers, and it seems to work.
Wow. Team, communication, trust. Wow, that's awesome.
Yep.
And if you don't have team, you don't have communication, you don't have trust, trust me, you're going to figure it out one day.
You'll figure
Right.
it out.
Thank you, Christopher. Good
Thanks,
to see
sir.
you, my brother.
Good to see you.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me.
Bet.
Welcome, everybody. Over the next hour, we're going to talk about 4 words that almost all of us have said or heard on the job. You'll figure it out. These words can build a leader, or they can leave someone stranded. And the difference is leadership. Here's my promise for today. This is not only going to be less involved with your people, but it's about making your involvement more intentional, building judgment, ownership, and safe decision making instead of dependence. So let's get into it. Here's where we're headed. We will learn how to enable ownership instead of creating dependence, how to balance psychological safety with real accountability, and how to coach the thinking, helping people work a problem before we hand them the answer. We'll also talk about building judgment and trust so you're growing into the next generation of leaders. Keep one question in the back of your mind the whole time. I am making my people stronger, or am I making them need me more? So let me ask you something. Have you ever been told, you'll figure it out? Think about how it made you feel. Were you encouraged and trusted, or were you frustrated and unsupported? Notice the split where in those 2 things. The exact same 4 words make some of us feel motivated and others feel abandoned. That difference isn't the words, it's the leadership behind them. That's what today is all about. So why does this matter? Today's workforce needs leaders who give direction without micromanaging, who grant autonomy but set guardrails, and who create physical safety while holding people accountable. Great leaders don't create dependence. They don't need to be the only person with the answers. They build capability, confidence, and ownership. In the field, this is how a crew gets stronger. The supervisor coaches decision making instead of becoming the bottleneck for every question. So here's the tricky part. You'll figure it out. Can carry 2 completely opposite messages. Sometimes it means, I believe in you. Other times it means, I don't want to help. What describes which one of your employees hears? You do. Through your tone, your timing, and whether you've given them expectations, the resources, and the support that they actually need to be successful. Listen to the difference between these 2. A poor leader says, figure it out. A great leader says, I know you can figure it out. Here's what success looks like, and I'll be available if you need guidance. The last line, I'll be available, is everything. It's the line between delegation and abandonment, but it also is the line that defines success, confirms that they understand it, and that you stay reachable without taking the problem back. A lot of new leaders believe, I have to know everything. Let me take that pressure off of you. Your team does not need a walking encyclopedia. What they need is someone who can ask good questions, remove barriers, coach, and develop people. And to be clear, coaching doesn't mean that you stop answering. It means you choose whether to answer directly or when to ask a question back. And when you let someone work through it with guardrails. So here's what happens when we answer everything. People stop thinking. And we had a discussion earlier about AI, the future of AI. People's going to stop thinking. They start asking before they even try. So innovation disappears, confidence drops, and dependency grows. Every quick answer we hand out trains the team to wait for the next one. Where might you be creating without meaning to? Often it's answering too fast or solving the problem before that person even has a chance to think. Think of the readiness pyramid. At the bottom, tell me what to do, then show me how, let me try, coach me, and at the top, trust me. Leadership is the work of moving people upward. Picture one real person on your crew. Where are they in this pyramid? Think about that for a sec. And what is the one piece of support that would move them up to that next level safely? When someone brings you a problem, try slowing the movement down with questions instead of answers. And that'll be hard to do. Our human nature is to give that answer, especially if we know the answer, is to give the answer. But slow down and start asking them questions. What have you tried? What options do you see? What's your biggest concern? What resources do you have? And what would happen if? Notice that these questions they hand the thinking back to the employee while you stay right there with them. So here's the core shift for today. The best leaders ask more than they tell. Answers create dependence. Questions create ownership. One caution, questions only build people up when they're sincere and useful. Don't use them as a trap or a gotcha. The goal is to develop, but never embarrassment. There's an important boundary here. Rescuing fixes the task that stops there. Coaching builds judgment that person carries into the next problem. So when do you rescue? When the risk is immediate, danger, compliance exposure, a critical procedure, then you have to step in. When do you coach? When it's safe to think and that they have the knowledge, the time, and the resources to walk through it. Your job is to provide the guardrails, not remove every challenge. Think back to something you're good at now. Learning to drive, learning to weld, run equipment, be an alignment. Did you master that instantly? Of course not. Growth requires struggle. But be clear about the kind of struggle we mean. Productive struggle is planned, supported, and controlled. It's never unmanaged, exposure to real risk. There's good struggle and there's bad struggle. Good struggle builds confidence, decision-making, problem-solving, and ownership. Bad struggle creates fear, embarrassment, unsafe behaviors, and confusion. What would turn that same moment into a bad kind? Usually it's missing training, unclear expectations, time pressure, or unsafe conditions. Let's be absolutely clear on safety, because empowerment never means guessing around hazards. Leadership is helping people make safe decisions when conditions change. Set the expectations, confirm the person is competent, verifying the controls. Then you coach the decision making. And when safety, compliance, ethics, or emergency response is on the line, direct leadership is required. The best safety leaders build crews who speak up, think ahead, and own safe work. Now, the two ways this goes wrong: first, too much control. Micromanaging gives you low morale, slow production, burnout, and an exhausted leader in weak succession planning because no one else has ever learned to decide. So one question I have for you to think about is, what decisions are you still holding on to that someone else could safely learn to make? Now the opposite is just as dangerous. Throw people into situations with zero guidance and you make mistakes, frustration, turnover, and you have your safety incidents. So hear this clearly, hands off is not empowerment. Real empowerment takes training, clear expectations, resources, authority, and follow-up. Put support and accountability on two axes and you get 4 zones. High support with low accountability is comfort. Low support with high accountability is pressure. Low and low is neglect, and high support with high accountability, that's development. So under pressure, which zone do you drift into? The standard we're aiming for is development, where trust, growth, safety, and accountability all work together. And that means most in safety-sensitive work. People gain confidence when they hear us say, "I trust your judgment. I believe you can solve this. I've got your back." But trust isn't a slogan. It's built through repeated experiences where you give the responsibility, provide support, and follow through. Trust is confidence backed by preparation and accountability. This is never blind faith. Think of some time when someone trusted you with something you weren't sure you could do, or a time when someone left you completely on your own. What did the leader actually do? How did that affect your confidence? And what lesson you'd want your own team to take from it? The real power is a small word, yet. A fixed mindset says, "I can't." A growth mindset says, "I can't yet." That word in a relationship tool, we move people from "I can't" to "I can't yet" through coaching, practice, feedback, and belief. Belief that they can hear in the way we talk to them. We can actually teach people how to think through a problem. Teach them 5 questions. What is the problem? What caused it? What are my options? What's the safest? And what could my customer expect? Notice that safety and the customer are built right in the habit we want is simple. Identify the problem, weigh the risk, consider the customer, and recommend a safe solution before escalating. Your style should also match the person's readiness. New or high risk solutions, lead with direction. Building skill, coaching. Capable but needing back or needs backing, that's support. Experienced and low risk, delegate. The skill isn't picking one style and staying there, it's adapting. The same employee might need direction on one task and delegation on the other. This one's non-negotiable, so let's be firm. There are places you'll figure it out has no business being said. Safety, compliance, ethics, emergency response, harassment, discrimination, or critical procedures. None of those are trial and error. In every one of them, you provide direct guidance and you make sure the standard is followed, no exceptions. Read the person, not just the task. You have to ask yourself, how experienced are they? How confident do they feel? What stress are they under? How do they best take in information? Are they ready for this moment? Because a fully capable employee can still need your support if they are stressed, uncertain, fatigued, or under unusual pressure. The task might be routine, the day may not be. Let's define empowerment clearly, because it gets misused. Empowerment is not doing whatever you want. Empowerment is having the authority, training, and confidence to make good decisions. It's authority plus preparation. With a clear line for when you stop and escalate, people should know exactly what they can do, what they can decide, and what standards to follow. And when they raise their hand, it gives them the opportunity to ask questions. So give your people a simple decision cycle that they can use in the field. Stop, think, assess, decide, learn, and then repeat it. Don't skip that last step. The learn step matters. Take a minute to debrief after a discussion, especially when it's difficult, uncertain, or safety related. That's how single decision becomes lasting judgment. So here's a 5-step tool you can use in the moment. 1, set the expectation. What does success look like? 2, ask what they've tried. 3, confirm the safest option. What hazards, controls, or procedures apply? 4, provide the guardrails. What must not be compromised? And 5, debrief the lesson. It works best when you stay calm, ask specific questions, and keep the safety guardrails visible the whole time. Small language change with a big result. Instead of, here's what to do, try, what do you recommend? Keep it realistic and let them give you the answer. You just give it after they've done some thinking, but not before. So give them time to think about it, give an answer, and then interject if you need to. A new apprentice looks at you and says, I've never done this before. What do you say? For some brand new, the right answer leans toward direction, instruction, a demonstration, a clear hazard awareness, and reassurance. This is not a figure it out moment. An experienced employee is asking you questions every 5 minutes. Do you keep answering, coach, or ask questions back? With a capable person, shift the answers to ownership questions. What do you recommend? What risk do you see? What would you do if I weren't here? Or you're handling the thinking back to that employee because they're experienced. They're just asking questions. The third case is an employee makes a mistake. What's your response? Is it to punish, teach, or coach? Separate accountability from punishment. If it's willful disregard, correction may be appropriate. If it's a learning error, coach the lesson, correct the behavior, and confirm the standard going forward. Here's the truth that holds up everywhere. People protect what they build. Bring people into solving problems and improving the process, and they'll protect the quality, the safety, the efficiency, and the good ideas. That's the heart of strong safety culture. Crews protect the work plan, the equipment, and the standards when they have a hand in shaping them. Five leadership habits, and they work together. The first one is listen. That builds understanding. Coach. That builds capability. Challenge. That builds growth. Trust. That builds confidence. And then celebrate. That reinforces the behavior that you want repeated. No single one carries it alone. Stacked together, day after day, they become the culture on your crew. Where does real confidence come from? Not from praise. It comes from repeatable cycle. Experience creates exposure. Practice builds skill. Feedback creates learning. And a reflection lesson turns into judgment. So if you want a confident team, give them reps, keep the practice safe, give feedback in time to use it, and then give them the space to reflect. Feedback can be simple and still powerful. 3 questions. What went well? What could improve? And what will you do the next time? Use it right after meaningful work, not weeks later in a review, but keep it specific, keep it respectful, and keep it aimed at the future. When you delegate, you transfer task, authority, and the decision making, and the learning that comes with them. What you never transfer is responsibility. You always own the results. So delegate the authority, then keep monitoring, supporting, and following up. Handing something off is the start of your involvement, not the end of it. 5 common mistakes. And what I want you to be honest with yourself when you're listening to this is we rescue too quickly, we ignore too long, assuming understanding, avoiding difficult conversations, and we end up doing the work ourselves. I don't know how many times in my mind or in my actions have I done something because it's quicker for me to do it myself, instead of trusting or allowing my team to do a task. I thought, I'll just do it myself, it's quicker. And I don't have to rework instead of taking the time to coach. Which one is yours under pressure? No blame. Just name one that you're most prone to and one thing you'll do differently this week. Again, mine is the thinking of just do it myself. So I have to work on that, and it's a daily challenge, but I'm working on it. Ralph Nader said it plainly. The function of leadership is to produce more leaders, not more followers. So let that be our turning point from ideas to commitment. So ask yourself honestly, are my current habits producing more leaders or more followers? More followers is for your Facebook and TikTok and all that. So let's put you into groups. So we're going to talk through these questions. When should you help? When should you coach? And when should you let someone struggle? When learning is possible and allow controlled struggle, then we support that when the guardrails are in place. So let's make this a quiet and personal for a moment. Think of someone who believed in you. What did they actually do? How did it change you? Odds are someone developed you through a mix of trust, challenge, and support. And that's exactly what your people need from you. Here's a commitment for the next week. I will ask one more coaching question before giving an answer. Use it when the situation allows for learning, judgment, and a safe decision making. And step in directly the moment safety, compliance, ethics, or emergency response requires it. So as we bring this home, come back to these 4 words. You'll figure it out. Should never mean you're on your own. It should mean I believe in you, I'll support you, and together you'll become stronger because of it. That's the whole message of today. Confidence and support, not distance and abandonment. So let's lock in what great leaders build. You build confidence, you build thinkers, you build ownership, and you build future leaders, not dependents. Of those, which matters most in your role? Remember how we measure success: more judgment, more ownership, and safer decisions across your team. So let's close by carrying this forward. For questions to sit with, where have you been too quick to give the answer? Where could you replace instruction with coaching? How can you show confidence without leaving someone unsupported? And what will you do differently this week to develop the next leader? Here's the challenge. Next time someone brings you a question, pause before you answer and ask one thoughtful question that helps them think it through. Do that consistently, and you will build a team that makes sound decisions, takes ownership, and grows into leaders. As leaders' greatest success isn't measured by how many people depend on them, but by how many people no longer have to. Don't be the bottleneck for every answer. Build people who can think, decide, ask for help, and at the right time will lead others as well.